Now I know it's still the offseason, but is that going to stop me from making a New York Rangers offseason review? No. Alright, so pretty much everything has gone our way so far during this offseason, between the draft, the signings, and the trades, and I'm very happy with what they've been doing so far. Jeff Gordon has been doing a great job so far as GM. The only things that really haven't gone our way is Zuccarello not re-signing with the Stars so we could get that first-round pick, and us not firing Lindy Ruff.
That's a joke.
Because our defense last year was just awful. But I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, and I'll say it was just the players, though, and we'll give him another chance. But, I'm still a little concerned about this whole cap space situation. We signed Panarin for a monster deal, and we have $8 million left to work with, and we still have to sign Trouba, D'Angelo, Buchnevich, and Lemieux. And I really do want to keep all those guys if we can. I know it's going to be hard, but if we can find a way to get all those guys still in New York, I would be very, very happy this season. When it comes to the projected lines, this is what we got. These are the line combinations that were given to me by dailyfaceoff.com, and I love them so far. It's definitely a lot stronger than last season. That being said, I think we could do a little bit better, and I think this is going to be shuffled around a little bit throughout the season. I like the fact that they're keeping 2 Russians on the first and the third line. I think that's going to help a little bit chemistry-wise and get them all a little bit acclimated to what's happening right now. That being said, there's still a few people missing from these forward lines. It's Brandon Lemieux, Greg McKegg, and Matt Bolesky. I would like to see Brandon Lemieux still in the lineup. I want to see him, at least in the third or fourth line, getting some ice time because he did amazing last season, and he was the funnest thing to watch since we had Sean Avery.
It's the bike lane!
Greg McKegg, we signed pretty much the depth guy. He's probably going to play a lot of time in Hartford. And Matt Bolesky, who's pretty much just a useless cap dump at this point, unless he proves himself otherwise during camp. When it comes to defense, this is what we have right now. Again, a couple of people are missing from this. We're missing Libor Hayek and Brendan Smith. And last but not least, up the goaltender situation. We have Henrik Lundqvist, Alexander Georgiev, and Igor Shesterkin still to work with. And this is where things get a little bit tricky, and I think this is where they're going to have to make some tough decisions, unfortunately. Georgiev's entry-level contract is going to be up after this season, and he's going to want a pretty big raise after the season's done, after the work that he's done this year. I think if we're going to have to dump some cap, this might be where it's going to be. And it's unfortunate because Georgiev has been almost as good as Lundqvist last season, and I think he's going to have a bright future. That being said, ever since we drafted Shesterkin, we knew he was going to be the future of this franchise, and it's very, very hard to keep 3 goaltenders rotating throughout the lineup. I think they're going to have to do with Georgiev what they pretty much did with Cam Talbot and Antti Raanta the past 2 seasons, and try to get some value out of him. I could even see them doing a trade like Georgiev, Brendan Smith, and Matt Bolesky for like a 3rd round pick just to clear up some cap space later on. But other than that, if we could resign all those guys, we'll be happy. Even if we're not able to resign a couple of those guys, I think we're still in decent shape. I think if that's the worst problems we have right now, we're doing pretty good. The only other problem with the whole cap space situation is Chris Kreider. He's a UFA after this season, and they're very torn on whether they're going to give him a long-term contract or if they're going to trade him for some prospects again. Because after all, we still are in a rebuild. But that being said, Kreider's been a very long-tenured forward on this team, and I would honestly prefer to just see his contract expire and him go into free agency than us trade him at some point. The other 2 notable contracts that are going to be up after next season is going to be Vladislav Nemestikov and Ryan Strome. Ryan Strome, of course, has been doing amazing ever since we absolutely finessed the Oilers in that Ryan Spooner deal, and Nemestikov, who's been alright for us. He definitely does not look like the Nemestikov that played with the Lightning on the top line with Steven Stamkos and Nikita Kucherov, but still, he was a very useful player. That being said, I could also see these guys potentially being trade bait later on if we needed it. We have a lot of big prospects coming up. I really do think that drafting Kakko is the best thing that's happened to the Rangers in years. I think he's going to be a generational talent, and I think it's going to be a very bright future for him. Personally, for me, I think he's going to be even better than Jack Hughes. And also, I think that it makes the Panarin signing a whole lot better because Kakko's not going to be rushed into being that number 1 guy immediately. He doesn't have to be on the top line right now. He can have another year to develop, and he can actually be a star when he's ready to be a star. Because God knows he already looks nervous enough in pretty much every video that he's been posted in.
Wow, it's a nice city.
When it comes to the defensive pairings this year, this is what we got. And I think this is also going to be shuffled around a bit. There's a couple names right here that are not being shown, and that's a Libor Hayek, who I definitely think is going to be getting at least a shot this year, and also Brendan Smith, who's whatever. But I like this. I like this a lot better than what we had. The Adam Fox acquisition is looking better and better every day that I see a video of this kid, and we still have some good veteran presence back there. Which then brings me to another question. Who are we going to put the C on their jersey this year? I think there's a few options here, at least in my opinion. Zibanejad, Kreider, or Mark Stahl. I think those are pretty much the only options that we have, at least currently. I could see them going with Stahl, just because he's a very, very long-tenured player on the Rangers. He does bring some leadership, and I could see them giving him like a temporary captaincy until his contract expires, and then maybe we give it to a star that's coming up. Maybe Panarin, maybe Kakko, I don't know. But I think that's the most probable situation. Other than that, we have Chris Kreider, who it's all dependent on if they plan on re-signing him, or Mika Zibanejad, who I friggin' love. I think that guy's been absolutely phenomenal ever since that Brassard deal. I think that if they plan on looking long-term, they're going to either give it to Zibanejad, or maybe go bold and give it immediately to Panarin, or just give it to Mark Stahl and have just a kind of temporary thing. Now, will the Rangers make the playoffs this year? I think so. At least I hope so. I don't think they're going to be the number 1 seed in the Metro. I do think that they could probably slip into a wildcard spot, or maybe somewhere in the 2 and 3 even. But the future's definitely looking bright. And if they keep doing what they're doing, I think that we're going to have a very bright future for many years to come. And who knows, maybe they could surprise us. Maybe they win the cup this year. I'm not going to be expecting it, but I'm going to be having a hell of a good time watching this season. And I think that's going to be it for now. If you guys have any comments, please leave it down there. If you liked what you saw, please show me some love. I'll try to work on another video sometime soon, reviewing what other further moves they make, and hopefully for other teams as well. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Later.
That's a joke. That's the definition of a joke right there.